I just ended up making a video on my initial thoughts on the Reload 2 press. After doing some reloading, I've decided that it is a pretty decent machine. It is pretty sturdy. I shoot about 50 to 100 rounds a month, so for me this is going to work well. If I was shooting more, I think I may want to upgrade to a better machine, but that's not really a lot to be shooting, so I don't really need to go out and spend a lot of money on something that's going to be a little more elaborate. If it was like a metallic cartridge, a rifle round, or a pistol round, I would go and spend all the money on it. I reload a lot of pistol and rifle. I go shooting about once a week, and I shoot about 500 to 1,000 rounds at a time. So if you do the math on that, that's say 500 rounds a week times 4 multiplied by 12 divided by a 30 rack equals a shitload of rounds. In that particular case, it's more economical and it's better to go and spend a lot of money on a more expensive machine. So let's get down to what I think about this machine. All in all, it seemed pretty well made. I was surprised at how well made it was, given the fact that it is pretty much all plastic machine. One thing to point out is on the reservoir, on your powder reservoir and on your shot reservoir, they are connected. They are not separate, so emptying them out can be a little difficult. I would suggest that you only put in as much as you think you're going to use. You can always add to it. They're both a good size and they fit a good amount in there. The other thing that I'm really not a fan of, and I'm kind of getting over it the more I use the machine, is this primer dispenser. I don't see why it couldn't be changed to just make it a little easier. I reloaded some shells and it actually reloads them fairly well. I don't think you're going to be doing this to get a lot of speed out of it, though you can, if you fall into a rhythm, get quite a few shells out of it within a short period of time. One of the reasons why I went out and bought this is I hate being dependent on another company or another person to provide me with ammunition. This way here, I can go and I can reload as much as I think I need and not have to worry about a shortage or they don't have the right type of ammunition. Whatever the case may be, it's just always good to have the means to do it yourself. Let's take a look at the machine. Right here you have your Station 1. This is the sizing and decapping die. What that's going to do is it's going to size your shell and decap your spent primer. You have Station 2 right here, and this is going to insert the new primer into your shell. They make an apparatus that goes back here that inserts the primers. It's not technically like an auto feeder, and it will slide the primer into Station 2 for you. I looked at it like if I went out and bought it, I would be adding more money to this machine. It would increase what I spent on the machine. If I'm going to go out and I'm going to spend any more money on the machine, I'm probably going to upgrade. This is Station 3 right here, and what Station 3 does is you insert your shell here. It does your powder, your wad, and then your shot. From Station 3, you go here to Station 4. And this is for 12 gauge. This is your crimp start. I believe it's an 8-point crimp start. Then you finish it up right here on your last station. And what that does is it finalizes the crimp. This right here is your 12 gauge size and die. And you always want to have the ring facing up. Put it on your shell. You'll notice that it stops. That gives you an indication that it's the right way. If it's on the wrong way and you put it on, you can see it just slides right down, and that's really not doing anything for it. What you're going to do is you're going to place it in your first station. Push all the way down. Now what I like about this is when it's sizing the shell, it actually goes all the way down, and it's gonna size the rim as well, which is a nice option to have. If you shoot a lot, this will kind of get distorted and you may have some feeding problems over time. So that will give you a nice full size. And then you're going to go into Station 2. You take your primer and you insert it into the second station. You can push this right up and the shell will stay right on. And you're going to go down and you're going to insert your primer. And when you insert your primer, your sizing die will come off. So then you go into Station 3. Now in Station 3, you can't just put it straight in, it won't fit. So you have to put it in on kind of this angle and it will slide in. It won't damage the fingers that are on the inside. You want to make sure that your powder knob is all the way to the left. Go down all the way. Take this knob and go all the way to the right with it, and that's going to release the powder into the shell. It's going to get the shot ready. So you want to come up and you want to insert your wad. There's a couple of different ways to do this. You can either press them in like this, or you can put it on here and they'll get pressed in. And you're going to go all the way down till you feel that that is seated. Once that's seated, you're going to come all the way over to the right. And that's going to drop your shot in and start the crimp. And what you got to do is you have to look for an indentation in the pedals right here, much like that one right there. And you want the indentation facing out. Stick that in there. Make sure it's lined up right, because these are already preset in the machine. And that's going to start your crimp. So you can see the crimp's been started. Come over to your last station, same thing. You're going to make sure the indentation is facing out. This last station can be a little tricky. I've noticed that you can almost overpress it with these shells that I'm using. Some shells tend to hold up a little better. They crimp a little better. These shells, if you put too much force on them, you'll crush the top a little bit. So what I like to do is go down and then take a look at it. And if it looks good, I leave it. But if I need to, I can apply some more pressure to it. It kind of puts like a taper on the top. It tapers them in. You're going to have different results with different shells. This machine kind of exceeded my expectations. It's really simple to operate. All in all, I think it's a great machine if you're just getting into reloading shotgun. You're not going to have a lot of money into it. If it's something that where it's not for you, it's not going to be like you've invested an overwhelming amount of money, and it's very inexpensive alternative to get into reloading shotgun. And the other great thing about the low cost of it is you're going to start saving money a little faster. If you have a more expensive machine, it's going to take more time to recoup those costs. You're going to have to load a lot more before the machine will actually pay off itself. I think the pros of this machine far outweigh the cons of the machine, and I really think I'm going to enjoy using it in the future.